Welcome back to Rotten and Forgotten, episode 3. Today, we're going to be taking a look at my Elan named Steve. Now Steve is probably my favorite Elan I got because it was the first one. And I paid a whopping $0 for him. So that was a pretty good deal. The only stipulation with Steve was he was buried in a tree row. So we got him out, took a little bit. And, brought her in the shop, warmed it up, got the piston unstuck. That was interesting. And started it up and rode it around for a little while, till it blew up. Yeah, the piston was stuck, or the ring was stuck in the piston, I should say, and it didn't last too long. I mean, probably a day or so riding. Anyways, went on the Eagle Bays, found a ring for it, slapped it in there. Long story short, it's been a good sled ever since then. I think I got some old footage. Maybe we'll put that up right now. This is a Skidoo Elan. You can tell that because of the way it is. But yeah, just literally dug it out of a tree row. It ran 10 years ago, so it's probably going to fire right off once we, make the motor spin over and fix the carburetor and all those other fun things. But it is indeed an intact Elan. It appears to be mostly complete. The guy said it ran 10 years ago too, so I mean, we got that going for it. Anyways, today we're here to fix the problems that Steve has acquired over the last year. The first one being, well, I'll just show you. The key's not working. That's our first problem. Our second problem is this recoil. For some reason, when it gets cold, it just kind of dangles. Right now it's pretty good, but it ain't got the recoil juices. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna take a little gander at the recoil, pull that off, probably put a new spring in, if I got one. And then we're gonna dive into the wiring. And let me tell you what, the wiring on these things, pretty simple. I think there's like 3 wires, 4 wires going up there. I don't know. Anyways, let's just dive into this thing and get started, I suppose. Let's peel this off. She's held on by some 10mm bolts, 4 of them to be exact. When you're getting your ratchet on there, the mouse guard, at least mine's got a mouse guard thing, it kind of gets in the way, but doesn't go too bad. We'll throw you guys in turbo mode. Pop this thing off real fast like, and get her on the bench, I suppose. So I'm going to start off here and get my super duper recoil starter handle knot out. It's a pretty good one, so we're going to do the right thing. I'm not good at getting knots out, so it's a ½ inch shorter now, but my life expectancy is probably a ½ inch longer because I don't have to deal with it. Anyways, next we're going to pop off this little C-clip. Oh, she wants to wrap. So it still has some spring tension, apparently. What is going on with you? We're going to let her unravel a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Okay. We're going to pop off this spring. Then here comes out your little teeth, clevis thingies. There's a name for these. Buttons, maybe? I don't remember. Those things come out, and then this washer comes out last. Now we're going to just pop out your recoil, rewind thing, like that. And here is my lovely spring. Now, to be fair, I did break this once. So that's why it's all bent up. And I knew that. It's just getting weak. I'm going to save on that spring because I like to save parts. But we did the right thing and bought a brand new spring off the internet, of course. Get this bag opened up. It's an SPI. I don't know. I found it on Dennis Kirk, okay? Those guys cost a lot for shipping, by the way. We're going to install this spring now. How's it going to go in there? Well, like this, of course. This guy's gonna go over here, and this little knobber guy's gotta, okay, we're gonna have to extend this out. The tail of the spring's gotta come out just a little bit, or it's gotta open up. Something's gotta happen. Things gotta open up a little bit. There we go. Now that little tail's on that little knobber in there, we're gonna bend it back a little. I don't even know if I really bent that, but. Okay, we're getting there, guys. We're gonna throw our recoil back in here. Rewind, recoil, I don't know. Terminology ain't my kind of thing. There you go, Conway. You just hear it snap like that? It went inside those grooves. Here, I'll show you the grooves. There's this little groove here, okay? You just kind of drop her in and rotate it until you feel it snap in. Now I don't want to do it. Or am I in the groove? Oh, I might be in the groove. Look at that. Okay, now you're going to want to give this thing a whole bunch of wraps until it feels taut. And no matter what you do, you're not going to wrap it up enough on the first round, most likely. Feels like that's about all she's got. So we're going to let this go back a little bit. And now, I forgot to do something. Okay, this is gonna get interesting. I forgot to take off the little string knobber thingy, so now I gotta hold this spring tension back and take this off quick. If it wants to come off. Yeah, it's gonna come off. Okay, good deal. I'm just gonna pop one off now, I think. Can I get them both? Okay, there we go. Just get it enough so you can feed your string through there. Rope, recoil rope. Whatever. Anyway, something like that. Get her strung through. Now this is gonna want to go that way. Okay, give me a second here. Now I just gotta feed this through this thing. Like that. Pull your slack out. And this whole time I've been keeping down pressure on this recoil, trying to keep it from winding, because it wants to wind up that spring. So it's, you know, kind of a limb intensive thing. Got that screw started again. Those are tightish. Let's see what she looks like. Now don't let her go in there, because you'll end up with some problems. Just let it go nice and slow for the time being. We're gonna see if we got her wrapped up enough. I think we did. She feels pretty stout yet. Alright, now I'm gonna throw this thing back on. I'm gonna tie a couple knots so it don't come out. So, oh, look at there. I almost forgot something again. I'm gonna put on the little rubber damper thingy. I don't know what it does, but it looks cool. There. Stick this through. If you don't know how to tie a knot, just tie a lot. That's usually my philosophy. Can we send her back through there? Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I'm not good at tying knots. Okay, let's not do it like that. That was dumb. I got something on there, kinda. Okay, we're just gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna put this back together so she don't when I'm tying a good knot. So this little washer goes on first. And now the spring things. I usually don't flip these things over. I just leave it how it is when it came off, because if you put them in backwards, they don't engage, you know, because of the centrifugal forces and whatnot. So this is gonna go in like this. Okay, got that? Gotcha? Cool. Moves freely. The other little washer. Spring. The big washer. and the key, retaining key. Voila! I'm gonna move this knot down a little bit because I want as much rope as I can have, since I did shorten it, you know, that 1/2 inch. This would be a good time to put new rope in too, but I ain't got the funds for that. So we'll just keep using this rope because it's working. Get that knot nice and tight, because when you pull that and that thing comes out, you'll be very disappointed. I've seen it happen more than once. I did a single knot on my last one, so I'm going to do the same on this one. Use your torch and just, you know, give her a little. Without burning your fingers. Let that burn down a little bit. We don't want any fraying to go on, you know what I'm saying? That's probably pretty good there. Into the recoil we go. And here, way more springage. I got a pretty good pull length yet, so I'm not too disappointed. We'll break it again. I'll put a good rope on it. Don't you worry. Okay, let's dive back into this sled. So, I'm gonna reinstall this now. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just do what you did when you took it off, except backwards. I lied to you guys, by the way. I only have 3 bolts. It's a factory option, I guess. Or I just lost one. That could have happened too, I guess. Okay, let's jump on the other side and diagnose our wiring. Now our key problem is kind of what I suspected. See this little yellow wire here? This is your ground. And when the ground's not plugged in, the sparkinator just keeps sparking because it doesn't get cut off. So basically, we just got to plug that back in. But I'm going to crimp these down a little bit more and really get her on there so it doesn't come off again. Hopefully. I've had this issue in the past. It's not that big of a deal. You literally got 4 wires going up there, so it's not, you know, that complicated. Let's see if we got her fixed. Key on. Like new. Now we got the recoil fixed and the key works, we're going to address our seat issue here. Now, it's functionable and it works like a seat should, but we're going to make some mods to it to make it a little more user-friendly, not only for the ride aspect, but for the eye aspect, if you know what I'm saying. I love me some resale red, but you know, it'd look a little bit sharper with some nice black material on her. So we're gonna, you know, pull the seat off, build ourselves a nice trapper box, and redo the foamage just a little bit. So let's get to her. We're gonna get this seat off right here, right now. My seat's secured by approximately, you know, 2 screws. I think that's factory, right? There. Those are off. I removed my 2 screws in the back, and presto, my seat is removed. We're gonna catalog that. We gotta go find some lumber, and we're we're gonna start doing some measuring and stuff. It's gonna get real good. To get started building our trapper box, we're just gonna measure a little bit. Looks like we're gonna want about 35 inches. As long as we're not getting in the way of our carburetor throat. That's at about 39 to the back. So yeah, 35 should work pretty darn good. And then we're gonna be probably about 13. I think we're gonna use 2x4s, you know, because that's what I got. The last one I built was out of a 2x6, and I'd like to know the difference between the ride height, you know, that extra 2 inches. Is it really, you know, worth it? Or could a guy get by with 2x4s? So this one we're gonna put the 2x4 on. You know, the General's already got the 2x6 lift trapper box on there. Anyways, let's get to cutting. We need 235 chunks, and then we'll lay them up here and figure out what we need for the other one. So. I know some of you carpenters out there are going to be pretty upset that I just used a permanent marker to mark out, you know, on my wood, but this isn't precision work here. This is just tomfoolery work. Don't get mad. Looks like we're gonna have to cut our next one at 12 5/8 for the front and the back, and that should make us a pretty darn good, you know, block. I think. We'll try it. You know what they say, measure once, cut twice. That's what I did. 12 5/8, there we go, right there. Might have to keep this little chunk as a souvenir. First time I messed up. As you can see, 12 5/8 fits in there nice. We'll get everything cleaned up good, and it's gonna work nice. So I'm gonna take my rough cuts here and sand them up, get all the bird poop off of them, and then we're gonna screw them together, you know, make it nice and square, set it on the sled, see how it looks, and see what we need to do from there. You guys might as well, you know, hit the turbo speed and fly through this. It's gonna take a little while. We got her all sanded down. Now we're gonna get this thing kind of clamped up and positioned how we want it before we drill our holes and send some screws on through her. I think I'm probably gonna want to be up here somewhere. This ain't rocket science, guys. It's pretty simple. Just make it look decent. You're not gonna be looking down there when you're ripping the powder anyways, so we're gonna take our handy dandy square here. Just kind of true it up a little bit maybe. It's looking pretty good though. Square enough for what I'm doing. And there we have it. Our trapper box is in box form. I'm gonna set it down here on the sled and see how she sits. And it's looking pretty darn good. I'm gonna mark where all these divots are on this frame, and then where these little latches go, so we can get her sit down flush on the frame before we drop the track to screw it on. So I'm gonna mark probably right about here to here. There. Got them all marked. I'm gonna bring it back up to my bench and start, you know, getting rid of some material. Now, if you got a router at home, that'd probably be the ideal tool of choice, but I've got this grinder and it seems to work pretty good. I'm gonna go in between my lines that I marked out here and, you know, just hog them out a little bit so we get a nicer, flusher fit. Something like that. Now we got it hogged out. Just gonna drop her right on here. See how she fits. Oh yeah, much nicer. That should do the trick. Yep. As you can see here, she's fitting pretty darn good at the moment. I am gonna cut another 2x4, screw her on the back here, so my mounting hole's got something to mount to, because I don't want to drill 2 more holes in this tunnel, because I just, re-welded it. And then I'll have some more room for my hinges and whatnot, it'll just be a good deal. But other than that, there ain't too much left to do. Put that 2x4 in here and probably paint on this, and then we'll drop the track, come back out here in the morning and install. And get the seat ready and whatnot. Now we put our seat down here. So we're gaining, 4 inches or so, whatever it is. It's just gonna give you that little extra height to get some more control going on. But now we're getting that close, we can start ripping into this seat and resizing it to fit our new need. Cut a couple inches off the front and size up our foam a little better and find some new material for the top of it. So this right here is my least favorite part about seats, and that's taking out staples. When a guy does a seat properly, he uses, a couple hundred staples, and then you gotta take them all out when you're gonna redo something, and it's not very fun, but let's just get after it, I suppose. It's not gonna do itself, I know that much. So we got the old seat plate out here, and we're gonna measure and chop her down a little bit. She's a little long at the moment for our trapper box. So we'll catch her on the edge there, mark her at that 35. On both sides real good. And we'll go grab the circular saw and cut her down a little bit. We got our foam marked out here. I want to cut her down a little bit, and I didn't quite know what to use. Then I found this big saw, and I think it might be just the right tool we're looking for. It's a little aggressive probably, but would you look at that? If it works, is it really a dumb idea? I don't know. That seemed to work rather well. Now this should fit our, thing a little better. Our seat plate, baseboard. I don't know what you want to call it. Sit up here like about that, maybe. It's looking pretty darn good. Now here comes the fun part. We're gonna start getting this seat put back together. Got our foam cut, our baseboard set. A guy could measure this out, and get it all precise, but the easier thing to do is just to go off the old one, because that one fit, and we only made that smaller, so it should, still fit. I'm gonna true up this end of my material, make a line down there, cut it, throw that foam on there, staple it, and we're gonna have ourselves a nice little seat. So, let's get it done. And boom, just like that, we got ourselves a seat. It ain't pretty, but it's gonna get the job done. So, it didn't go too bad. You guys wanna laugh? Here, I'll let you look at the back side. I did that, yep. Little extra material, it's fine. That stuff, it's cheap. She's not as majestic with just the black seat on there, but it's a little more business-like. Yeah, I'd say that. We're gonna spray the strapper box with this Rust-Oleum gloss protective enamel. There's a pretty big reason why we're using it, and that's because it says free on the can. And you're getting free paint then because they said so. 25% more to be exact. When you're applying this, just make it go back and forth. You guys aren't gonna believe this, but I forgot to put this part in here. It's gonna fit, so that's good. We're gonna paint that separate and, you know, screw it on later. We're back in the shop here, and we're gonna install some hinges now on our trapper box. The paint's kind of dry, so we're just gonna, you know, get this done, drop the trap, put her on there, and mount it, I suppose. And then it should be done. So let's get after it here. These are just, you know, hinges, they hinge and whatnot. So put her on here, drill some pilot holes, get her seat mounted up, and then we're gonna put a latch on the front to keep that seat secure. It should go real good, I'm sure. Yep. There. Something like that. The reason I put my hinges on the back side is so they don't, you know, get in the way when you're riding hard. You know, this way you're not going to rub your legs against that exposed hinge. I'm sure you could put some kind of internal hinge on it, but this is just the cheap way to do it. So this is what I ended up doing here. You know, it's pretty fancy. It hinges, so that's good. You know, hopefully your seat looks a little better than mine. I didn't try very hard on it, so that's great. But, you know, it does the flip thing. It's what we're looking for, you know what I'm saying? And it even latches on top of that. So, now we're just gonna, you know, drop this track and install. We're gonna be running some 1 5/8" screws, you know, through here. I don't want my seat to come off, so these should, you know, secure it fairly well. We'll have 6 of them in there, and if it does fall off, we'll put some more in at a later date. So as you can see, it doesn't take too much to put these old Elans back together on the bottom side of things. I think it's 10 bolts, you know, all said and done. The 2 tensioners, the one on the springs, and then your bogies. But it goes pretty good, especially after you do a couple of them. We're gonna, you know, tighten up these bogies and then work on tightening up the tensioner outside. This track's, you know, pretty well used up. It's got a lot of life left, but it ain't very pretty. So the tensioners, they're gonna be a little wonky once I get them tightened up, but as long as it runs straight on that rear cog, I don't care. You know, this ain't a show sled. This is a tree bogger, and that's what it's gonna do. Well folks, there you have it. We fixed that recoil, we got the trapper box made, everything's looking good for that old Elan. I appreciate you guys tuning in here to Rotten and Forgotten. We'll catch you on the next one.